Hey there, today I'm going to teach you how to draw Blastoise from Pokemon. So we're going to start with his eye, and I'm going to draw him facing that way. So let's start with the center of his eye. So the brow wrinkle with a small little curve like that. And then from here I'm going to go out to the outer edge of his eye with an upward curve. From here I'm going to start back at this point and draw a curve along the bottom. That's for the lower eyelid. And then right in here, just a little bit inside, I'm just going to connect with a straight line to the bottom. Let's draw on his pupil. So up here, start up here and draw sort of a half circle. So it's, you see the bottom half of the half circle. And then up here, I'm just going to draw another half circle, very small, and then color that in black. Now from here, I'm going to go out to the nose. So from here, I want to stretch out a point to the tip of his nose. And kind of do this. From here, I'm going to curl down with a curve to the front of his face. And then now I'm going to do the top part of his mouth. So let's draw a curve, the upper part of his mouth. Then from here I'm going to switch direction and come up to the side of his mouth on the edge. So like that. And on the end here I can just, if I want to, I can draw a little T just for a little bit of a wrinkle there. Now I'm going to draw some teeth first before I draw the rest of the mouth. So up here I'm going to come in a little bit on the right side and draw two curves, kind of like a curved V. I'll do the same thing here, so curving in and curving back the other way. Now from here I want to draw his mouth opened up, so I'll start inside. I'm not going to start from here, but I'll start around here and curve around to the tip of his mouth, so the bottom part of his mouth, so right about here, and come up with a straight curve, like that. Now let's draw the bottom row of teeth, so here I'm going to do the opposite of this, so curving inwards. Let's do the same thing here. Now I can draw the back side of his mouth. So this curve sort of gets replicated back here. So starting right about here, and curve in towards those teeth. So it's kind of going in towards that point there. Now I can draw a tongue here. So start about here, draw a curve, and then come up a little bit, about halfway, and curve around, and then tuck this in behind that tooth. Let's go up to the bottom of jaw. So here, I'll start to this point, and come around, and try to connect to that point there. So starting here, come up, and then wrap around to that point. There we go. And we'll go up to the nostrils. So here, I'm just going to draw a curve on one side, and I'm going to flip it for the other side here. Draw a curve like that, and then I'll connect the two bottoms with a line, a curved line. Let's go to the opposite side of the eye. So here, like I did here, I'm going to draw a curve kind of coming in towards each other. And then the outer part of the brow. Now this part is going to curve up, kind of like that, and then I'm going to come down towards the side. Now this has a pretty large brow as well, so I'm going to imagine this line coming up above like this. So I'll leave a little bit of a gap here, come up, following that same eye line. Then from here, I'm going to curve down. Then from this point, I'll just join up with that jaw, with a curve that kind of blends in, like so. Let's draw in an ear. So he's got big ears, so I'm going to point it out back this way. So starting up about here, I'm going to curve out, and then I'm going to bring that back into about this point here. And I'm going to replicate that a little bit smaller in the inside, just like that. Let's draw the back ear. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of the tip. So here, I'll come up, and then back down. Alright, now let's get into the shoulders. So here, I'm going to draw his arm kind of coming forward with sort of like a strap around his shoulder. So, but before I do that, I'm going to draw his hand first because it's the thing that's in front of his whole body. It's quite large. So let's start with the fingertips. So his claws. So right about here, I'm going to draw a point. From here, I'm going to curl around and draw what looks like a sideways raindrop. All right? I'm going to come about halfway and draw a large oval behind it. That's for the meat of his hand. And then for the claws, I'm just going to draw from right about here, draw a curve. I'll go to the bottom and draw the same size curve. And I'm just going to bring those in with a slight curve, like that. So there's his hand with his claw. And now I can start overlapping on top of his elbow. So here, I'm just going to draw kind of like a circle that gets tucked in behind. Okay, so you can imagine this actually goes all the way around here. And then I'm going to draw a shoulder. So right about here, draw another larger circle behind. It just makes it a little bit easier when you draw things in front that gets overlapped. Now let's go and draw the shoulder pad. So right around here, I'm going to draw a curve around that shoulder. Now this gets tucked in behind the head, so this will go up and meet up there. Let's go up about here and bring the shoulder line down. And this, I'm just going to come around and start to taper in behind that shoulder, kind of like that. Now here, I can just draw a separation line for the chest. Let's get into the back. I'm going to have a big, large cannon on his back here. So what I can do is I can draw a big circle. So you know I'm really horrible at drawing freehand circles, so I'm going to try this again. A little bit smaller. So I'll draw a circle, kind of like that. And then I'll draw a slightly smaller one in the inside. Like so. Now from here, I'm just going to pull in two lines for perspective. So from here, I'm just going to draw a straight line. Then from here, I'm going to draw a straight line. So you can sort of see that they're coming towards each other. And then I'm just going to connect these two with a curve, kind of like that. All right, now let's get into the back shell. So here, I'm going to start right about here. I'm going to start to wrap this around and kind of come in like this. So this will sort of show me how big the actual body is going to be. So that's the shell. Let's get into the back part of the cannon. So here, I'm just going to come in a little bit and draw a line. I'll come down here and I'll draw the same angled line coming down. From here, I'm going to draw a straight line into that shell. And then I'm going to double widen that out by drawing a line that comes out and it comes straight down like that. Now this I could probably extend a little bit more. Here, I'm going to draw a line and then draw another line here. So this is sort of like a casing for that cannon. Then here, at this point, I'm going to come down in an angle and then tuck that back in towards that shell. All right, now let's get into the legs. So I'm going to draw the leg first, and then that'll help me just finish off the rest of the body. So here, right about here, I'm going to draw a curve that comes down like that. Imagine this comes around and comes down the other way, in the opposite direction. For the knee detail, I'm just going to come up on both sides in an angle, like so, and then connect those 2 points with a line. Goes like that. Now I can see that I can finish off this back shell right into that leg. Then here, I'm just going to draw sort of an upside down V, kind of like that, and then connect that with almost like a diamond shape. This is for the middle center toenail. Here, I'm going to go across. Here, I'll go across. And I'm just going to curve those tips into that leg. Let's draw a little tail. So here, I'm going to draw a curve up. And I'm going to curve that back into the body, like so. Let's get into the tummy. So from here, I'm just going to wrap a line around into that leg. So starting here, right about the chin, I'm going to curve out and curl this around just like that. And then I could do some separation lines if I want to. So starting here, I'll draw an upward curve like this. Right about here, I'll do another one. Let's draw that a little bit longer. And here I'll draw another one, like so. Now I can draw the back leg. So here, if I imagine this leg, I'm going to draw one right here. So we'll curve in like so. Now, because the foot is pointing that way, you're going to see the front edge of this. So I'm going to draw a curve like that. Draw a straight line out and tuck that into that foot. Here, I'm going to go straight across. I'm going to do the same thing, but opposite. Come up, and curve that down. Then from this point, I can curve that into that belly. Now, I got another separation line in the knee, so I'm just going to go straight across, come down, and then curve that into the back, just like that. All right, let's go into the final part, is the opposite hand. So here, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to draw an oval. Large oval, kind of like this over here. I'm going to draw a sideways V. I'm going to draw a curve like this, sort of like how I did here. And curve those back into the palm of the hand, and then overlap these little circles. So another one for the shoulder here, and a little small detail back here. I'm just going to draw the back of the shell. So right about here, I'll draw in a curve. I'll draw in a curve like that, and then we could draw a couple separation lines. So one here, maybe one more up here, and I think that's it. There we have it. There's Blastoise from Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give it a like, and we'll see you again soon.